As the project manager, you need to set the example. And here are some guidelines that I suggest you communicate to the rest of the team, as well as emulate yourself. Having an effective team means that all the members are participating and that they're playing by the same rules. It is essential that people take responsibility. There's no room for blaming other people on a project. That doesn't mean that mistakes don't often involve more than one person, but it's not about finger pointing or ducking on blame. You need to take responsibility for what's yours, and oftentimes you need to take responsibility for others. As the project manager, you're pretty much always to blame if something goes wrong. That doesn't mean that an individual team member didn't affect this, but you can't blame other people because it's your job to manage things. You also need to make sure that people understand follow-through. A made commitment is a kept commitment. This might mean working late or coming in early to fix a problem. But it does mean if you've made a commitment, particularly if there's a schedule, that you honor it. A lot of team members don't understand that slipping a deadline could have huge repercussions because there's multiple steps that come next. The small adjustment of one missed deadline could affect everyone else on the team and risk the whole project. So getting people to understand the schedule and their part in it is really essential. You also need to actively listen. It's very easy that while we're working on projects to be thinking about multiple things. Most of the people on your team have more than one job, or they're working on several projects. Even if you think they're wholly on your project, there might be bleed over from the last video they edited, or questions from a client reaching out about a new project. It's important that you get a good culture of active listening and that when you have team meetings or other things, people aren't distracted. Get the cell phones put away, close the laptops if they're not part of the meeting, and get people to focus on each other. Clear communication is critically important. Don't mince words. Don't try to be overly polite. Be direct and succinct. If you're asking for a response, make sure it's clear. Yes or no is much clearer than I understand. I understand just means I heard you. It doesn't mean that I'm committing to do something or that I'm not going to do it. You need clear answers. Yes and no is a very clear answer. So when working with teammates or people on your project, make sure that you get a clear commitment and a clear understanding of things. Additionally, provide feedback. Your job is to make sure that others know what they're doing and that they're doing it correctly. But everyone on the team should feel comfortable providing feedback. That doesn't mean that the video editor wants everyone to walk by and offer their opinion nonstop throughout the day. But it does mean, particularly if they ask for an opinion, that people are willing to take the time to watch. Creative projects are often difficult and risky, and people want confidence, and they get that from their team. It's also important not only that you're willing to provide feedback, that you're willing to take it. Even as the project manager or an experienced person, you'll make mistakes. There are times that I get into disagreements with my team, and usually they're bringing things up for the right reason. You have to be able to pay attention and be willing to give and accept feedback freely. But make sure you and the team agree on some rules. You don't need to argue in front of your clients. And if there are disagreements, you don't need to involve the entire team. Finally, make sure that everyone on the team is tracking their time. And everyone really sucks at this. The problem with time tracking is people feel that you don't trust them. But without time tracking, you don't know what it is. You don't know how hard people are working. You don't know if somebody's having to log lots of extra time to meet the schedule. Without that time tracking data, it's very difficult to fix problems. You don't know if you're under budgeting. And what happens is you create this feeling of people being overworked. Sometimes it's actually the case. With a lack of data, it's difficult to make changes to your project plan. And time is the one thing we can track.